Hello, welcome to my bench. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you. Hope you enjoy it. I did a little bit of research on my analytics, and I found out that only 5 or 6% of the people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. I don't know what the average is. I haven't looked it up, but that seems kind of low. So I would love it if you guys would go over and hit that subscribe button, and helps the channel a lot. We're up to a couple of thousand now, and that's great. But let's try to build that up some, if you don't mind. Thank you. Anyway, also to let you know, I have a Patreon channel. Patreon.com/AERVblog, and if you want to support what I'm doing here, that would be much appreciated. You don't have to, of course, but I would love it if you did. So, what have we got here? We have a Moseley oral STL transmitter model PCL606. These are kind of long in the tooth at this point. They've been around for a while. They were used by a lot of stations. They've been superseded with the 6000 series, which I've done a couple of videos on. I think one on changing frequency or something like that. If you go look at those videos or that video, I'll put it up here in the corner. You'll see that they look a little different inside. These are a little more, complicated, simply because they didn't have all the little ICs and things that they have now that can take care of the problems or the things that it does. However, in some ways, these are built a little bit nicer, in my opinion. If you look over here, you'll notice that everything on here has little or very large connectors, connecting all of the individual boards to the wires that go to them, so that you don't have these, when you pull them out, you can actually get them all the way out. It really helps a lot. They're missing the big giant board up here in the front for the baseband. That's all done in other places. They've got filters and different VFO or oscillators are mounted on top of this big block here. It's a little bit different, but it does the same thing. The output amplifier is back here in this little block, and it's pretty much the same thing. It's got a little brick in the back that transmits. This particular version is 940 to 960 megahertz. This particular one is on 950.5 megahertz. And I want to get this up and running for a friend that's got an LPFM station that's having some problems with his studio to transmitter RF link. Nowadays, a lot of the smaller stations and even some of the bigger ones don't use these anymore. They don't use an honest to goodness RF link down to their transmitter. They'll go through the interwebs, which I guess I'm kind of old-fashioned, but that just scares the heck out of me, to rely on your main source of audio getting from your studios down to your transmitter, hopping around the world through who knows how many different jumps and hops and connections through different servers, and finally getting down to your transmitter, in some cases through a little cheap set of barracks boxes. I don't know, that scares me. I would rather have something like this. All right, this is just a simple, well, it's not simple. It's pretty pretty complicated, but it's just a transmitter that transmits on whatever baseband you've got. This one, like I said, is in the 950 range. It transmits composite, which is where you take your audio signal left and right, and you mix them together along with a 19 kilohertz stereo pilot, and you shove it down the line RF wise to the other end. The other end receives it, separates out the 19 kilohertz, separates out the left and right audio, or doesn't. I mean, depending on what kind of transmitter you've got, and runs it into your transmitter so that your whole signal is there. And the reason that these things are as complicated and big and bulky, and I mean, this thing's only like 8 to 9 watts. That's all it is. I've got a ham radio that's a third this size that does 100 watts. The difference is these things are meant to be plugged in, turned on, and run 365, 24/7 for years, like 30 years. I mean, these things they're built like bricks, or what a brick dunny is, they say down under. And as a result, things kind of wear out after a while. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to take a look at it and see what it's doing right now. I haven't done anything to it. I just took the top off of it because there's a dozen screws and nobody needs to watch somebody unscrew a lid. But I haven't done anything to this, but we're going to check it out and see what it does. Turn on the old Motorola R2200A service monitor, and I've got it set up for a 950.5. We'll turn it on. Right now I've got it going through a 150 watt light bulb, and like I said, this thing doesn't draw enough current to light up the light bulb. But we got, if we take the, let's see, yeah, here we go. Let's take this and take a look at it. And if you see, I've got minus 16 volts down here on the bottom, plus 15, 5, 12, AFC lock up here, and radiate. The plus 12 won't come on until we go to transmit, and the radiate should go from red to green. We have over here on the meters, we have from the bottom up, we got a voltmeter selection. Down there, you've got PA current, which is nothing at the moment because we're not transmitting. You have a IPA, which is intermittent, nothing yet. We got AFC level, automatic frequency control level, which should be over here around 7, which is 6.5. That's close enough, I guess. We've got MUX, which is the multiplex coming in, which we don't have any. We don't have any program coming in either at the moment. I haven't got any audio connected to it. And we don't have any reflected because we got no power. So we'll leave it on power. We'll hit the button over here. It should go into transmit. It did. We are showing power now on the 5. This is a relative meter. It's on the 5. It should be up around the 0. That's low. Let's see if we got any reflected. No, we have no reflected power at all. No program, no MUX. AFC is still good. And now we have an IPA current of about 7, which is right. PA current about 7, that's right. And voltmeter doesn't do anything at this point. So we'll just go back to forward. All right, so it is working. It's transmitting. Let's take a look at the Motorola here. And it says we're putting out about 2 But 2.5 watts, 2.6, 4, somewhere around there. Not very much. However, frequency error is about 2.35 kilohertz low. In order to tune these things up exactly, you got to mess around with it, which we'll do. I'll do when I do a tune-up. So it is working, but it's not. It's just not transmitting much. Let's take a look at the power. Okay, a little. We haven't got any bumps anywhere. Let's take this up. Whoops, 10. Nope, haven't got it. I don't see any bumps right off the bat. That's this little spectrum analyzer in here. Is not perfect, but it works anyhow. So it is working, but it's quite low on power. So let me shut her down, and I'll show you how you get into these things. These are all held down in here. Let's see. These are a little bit different than the other ones. This one is held down, not held down, actually, is what it is. When it's shipped, this little bracket is mounted to the top panel, solid. And it says right on the top, don't forget to take these screws out. When it's running, it's just sitting on a bunch of on some rubber feet here, and that's it. That's how it's supposed to run. So I want to look and see. Well, first let's look at the manual, or the schematic, or the section of the schematic that this thing is, and find out what we're doing. We know we got our 12 volts because the 12 volt light lit up, and the output, the power output, is run on 12 volts. So we're correct there. But if we look at the manual, the schematic, you'll see here that you've got your modulation in, comes through here, the modulation level, and it goes, through an amplifier. That's a varactor diode right there, and it is connected through the FMO, which is the oscillator for the base frequency. This is how you change frequencies on this thing. And then it comes into this SL560C, which is a 300 megahertz op amp. Then it goes out there to the FMO RF output, and that RF output goes right to the little back amplifier, the 8-watt amplifier, 10-watt amplifier on the back. So, unfortunately, we'll open this up and I'll show you. I'll pause here for a minute and I'll take this thing. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just show you how you get into it. First of all, you disconnect your cables over here and over here. You don't really have to take these very fragile little RF connectors off, but you can pull it out far enough now that there's your whole block. On this side of the block, you've got your frequency trim to get it down as close as you can. There's a loss of lock light here, which mimics the lock light on the front. If that goes red, you don't have a lock on frequency and it'll shut down. A couple of test points. You got modulation input adjustment and AFC level adjustment. Remember the one on the front that was around 7, and your FMO level output. for a test point. That's about all you have down here. But this whole mess now is mounted on here with a couple of screws, which we have to take off on the bottom. All the screws are the same. Pretty much the same anyway. No, they're the same. Okay, get rid of this. They did this pretty well. This little brick over here, it's got, I forget what's in each of these. Maybe we'll go through and look at those. But they all have to do with transmitter buffering and going through different kinds of filtering and stuff like that to make sure it's good, clean output. At 950, that's saying something. All right, now these things are, how's the best way to put it? They're wedged in here. That's about the best way I can put it. They're just wedged in here. So the only way you can get them out is with a little screwdriver and kind of pry it up. Once you get it pried, slide your screwdriver underneath it, and we've been mooned. Okay, well, wrong side, but we're going to have to take the other side off anyway. We're going to try an experiment here, because I thought, well, I know that these things, the power goes down regularly. And for the longest time, when I was fixing these in the 6000 series, I thought that the little brick in the back went bad. Well, sometimes it does. Those little bricks have a couple of amplifiers in them, and they do go bad. There is your goodies right there. Isn't that cute? This is where you change frequency. Here's its associated stuff. Pieces, parts, what are these, 7400 series? Probably, yeah, 74 121, 74 260s, 168s. Yeah, those are for the counters, for the frequency set here. I'm just going to set this in the back. I am going to disconnect this one because we're going to have to move this around a little bit. Got to be careful with these. They're fragile. So now we got that one just completely separated. What we were looking at on the schematic is this guy right here. This little IC, this U11. If we look at the schematic again, it's right here. That's U11. And I went to look for these ICs, this SL560C, and you can find them if you don't mind spending $60 or $70 for the thing. And they might not even be real. Who knows? You know, it's like you take a chance anymore with the high price stuff. But then I did a little bit more research and found out that this, from the day it was actually born, also came in a different package. And the package that it comes in is this 8-pin dip. SL560C. So that's nice, but and the good thing about it is it's infinitely cheaper. The 8-pin dip package is like $8. But we have a slight little bit of a problem. I don't know if this is going to work, folks. We're experimenting here. We're trying. How do you take that little bitty guy there and replace him with an 8-pin dip? After a little bit of searching on the web, I found this. Somebody actually makes a 8-pin dip to TO99 little bitty converter for about $2.98 plus shipping. That is fantastic. I mean, it's 1-to-1, pin 1's pin 1. It just goes in there like that and goes into the board like that. The only problem we might have is there enough room for it in there? I guess we'll find out. So what we got to do is get this guy out of here. And yeah. Let's see how well it's in there. Pin 1 goes basically to ground, I guess. At least that's what it looks like it says. Wow. This is my smallest tip on this, and it's just barely small enough. Probably going to end up solder sucking this. What I think happens, or solder wicking this thing, what I think happens on these is like what happens in the 6000 series. They've got a little chip in there that replaces this that's called a MAR4. And it is just basically a little RF amplifier. And that little RF amplifier gets weak. Okay, let's let's see. Wow, almost. And when it gets weak, it reduces the power output of the whole system. So that chip, that brick in the back there, that's another $60 thing. And it's another one of those that you got to be really careful that you're not getting a fake. This fake thing is getting really out of hand. Let's see, can I see this wiggle at all? Yes. Come on, baby. There we go. There she is. Do a little inspection down here. Pin 1 is facing that little triangle there. Everything else in here looks fine. Did a pretty good job. Whoops, backwards. Cleaning out those holes. New tips on your solder suckers really are great. All right, so let us find out how much room. I'm just going to take the chip off of here for right now. I'll solder that on in a minute. Pin 1 is pin 1. Let's make sure. You don't want to really blow this thing up. I guarantee you. These aren't really what you'd call cheap. I got new software. I couldn't believe one of my viewers actually wrote the software for the Vici meter that I use, and he watched one of my videos And he says, you know what? I think I can fix that. Where I said that it wouldn't read, wouldn't work on DC for diode and continuity. And he rewrote it and got it all done, sent it back to me, and it works fine. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Left me a comment and said, I can fix that for you. All right, so this is going to be pin 1 to pin 1. Yep. So pin 1 to pin 1. All right. It said on the where I got these that they were 1 to 1. So pin 1 is going to be 1. I want to make sure, just to make sure, pin 1 and pin 2 are grounded. So if I put it in this way, come on, move out of the way just a little bit. Oh, look. It actually does appear to fit in there. So that means if I go, I haven't soldered it yet, I'm just going to test it. Pin 1. First of all, I got to check here. Pin 1 and pin 2, it says are grounded. So that's pin 1, pin 2. Pin 2 is not going to anything on here. Not going to anything up here. No. Everything's on the bottom of the board on this. So pin 3, make sure pin 3 is going to C54. So pin 3, yes, is going to C54. Okay, so it goes like that. Yeah. That way, pin 1 is going to ground, and pin 8 is going to R61. Let's see. Yeah, okay. R61 was right. All right. So, I may cut a lot of that out. In order for this thing to fit in here, I have to make sure that the little notch goes along with where the little tab on here is pointed. The little tab is actually pointed to pin 8. So pin 1, so it'll go in there like that. Let's get you out of the way. Yeah, I'm going to have to kind of move a couple of these capacitors a little bit out of the way. All right. Like I said, this whole thing is an experiment, folks. So the notch on the IC goes to the notch on the board. All right. Looks like we're going to have plenty of room. I wonder. I wonder if they put this. There's a spacer under the legs here. I think it comes off. I don't want to destroy this thing. No, that's not a spacer. That's a holder. Okay. All right, so I don't want to use the holder because I don't think it's going to be high enough, and I may have to put a little heat sink on top of here. All right, so that means that pin 1 is going to ground. Pin 2 is going to nothing. Pin 3 is I believe that's pin 3. Yes, that's pin 3. Pin 3 is going to the output of C54. Correct. All right, so that is correct. Okay, so now we gotta oops, don't do that. Now we gotta solder the chip in there. I'm thinking and wondering. I'm going to check. Hold on. I see sockets. Do I have some good ones? There's a good one. They're pretty low profile. Got a good one. If I put this in here, am I going to have enough room? Well, that one ain't easy for a change. Okay. Is the chip actually going to fit? Yes, it will fit. Yes, easily it'll fit. So they put a socket on this. I'm going to put a socket on this too. So I did buy 2 of these just in case I did stupid. Not the chip. I bought 2 of the little adapters. Okay, so this adapter is in correctly. This little board, very nicely done. Wonder what made. I think this guy's in Texas. I will put down on the bottom, down in the description down there, where I got this from. I was quite happy to find it. If this works, even if it puts out the same amount as it did before, we prove that it actually does function in place of the metal can. So, all right. Put you in there. I know you can't see this. I'm just tacking it right now. We're trying to, because it's to hold it. There we go. Okay. Make sure it's about as flat as it can get here. And it is. Oh, that was beautiful. She. Nicely done. Oh, excuse me, I'm going to have to. Matter of fact, I think I'll put on my geek glasses for this. Need a new tip, I think. This one's getting kind of difficult to use. Don't think there's any shorts. But we shall see. Okay. No, no. No, no. No, no, no. No. Good. Perfect. All right. Well, let us form up the IC. It is new. It has not been used. I can't test it. I don't know. The only way I'm going to test it is putting it in the box. But I don't. I'm kind of taking the stance that why would anybody go through the trouble of faking a $8 chip? These are Plessy chips, by the way. And it does fit. Look, see? I got clearance. Well, put everything back. Out of my way a little bit. Drag you back over here. Ugh. Okay. And hook up this. Yeah, we can run this just kind of flopsy here for a little bit. Where'd you go? Here you are. You just want to make sure that nothing is shorted. That's all open, closed boxes. Oops. Just come here. This method, and they do this in all of them. All of them. They just smash in there like this. We're just going to smash it in enough to test it. Everybody is going the right way. Okay, you're good. You're not hitting anything. Everybody's happy. We think. And turn it on. We do not have frequency lock. All right, that means that our AFC is low. Okay. So let's see if we can tune the AFC level. The AFC level, remember the AFC level is supposed to be 12 volts is still there. That's good. The AFC level adjust is supposed to be around around 7. Let's see, where are we? Here we are. All right, I'm adjusting the AFC level right here to see if we can get any movement out of the meter at all. And no, we can't. Well, shucks. Well, I don't know. Let me see if I did anything wrong here. Oh, it might help if I actually plug the board in. You think? Make sure I get my keys going the right way. All right. All right. Oh. Sometimes I'm not as smart as I think I am. Yeah, a lot of the time I'm not as smart as I think I am. All right. On. No lock. But then I'm mushed with that AFC level a lot. No heat. Let's get this back up here. AFC. Too much. It's locking. We want about 7. Hey guys, it's locking. Seven. All right. And now for possibly, if I can get it so you can see this. Wish this had backlights. Ready? Absolutely no 2.5. Okay. Well, shucks. That's not going to get it. Same thing. Nuts. But it does transmit. It's not warm. Just for fun, let's make sure it's transmitting on the right frequency. Wow. 1.1, 1.2, 1.4. Let's see what it does. See if it levels out. I haven't got everything all screwed back together. It's slowing down about 2.8, 2.85. Okay. So, yes. However, these little guys will work. However, it did not fix it. So that means that either that brick is shot or there's something else wrong. And I don't know what at this point. Anyway, we've proven a point here. The point is, and it's not getting hot. I think I would put a little, I'd glue that's funny. When I touch it, it changes frequency, of course. I'd have to put the lid on top. That's what the lid's for. I would put a little heat sink on here, some sort of a flat pack heat sink to make sure that it that it runs, or that it stays nice and cool. It is easy to get it put in there. Just make sure you put it in right. The AFC level did need to be adjusted a little bit after that, which I kind of suspected because the AFC is frequency controlled by feedback. So we did prove a point. It does work. That's great. Now I got to figure out what else is wrong with it. But that'll be another video. This one's long enough. Show you what we did. So, yeah, you can do that. Neat. That's good to know. So, I'll and I know that Plessy is actually a real IC. So, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and like the video if you like it. We'll see you in the next video, and it might be on this thing. Thanks for watching.